Hi and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to replace the vibrating water pump on my Saeco Incanto automatic espresso machine. The machine is a model HD8911/47. Follow along and bear with me since this is the first time I'm doing this. I made some mistakes along the way, but I have made note of those mistakes so that you won't have to make the same ones. And please excuse any filming gaffes such as heads, elbows in the way, and focusing issues. Hi, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to try to replace the vibrator pump on the Saeco Incanto HD8911 Super Espresso machine, which hasn't failed completely, but every once in a while it won't have enough pressure to force water through the machine to make a cup of coffee. So first of all, what we're going to do is have to completely disassemble the machine. There's lots of screws here, and most of the screws are T10 Torx screws that look the same. But pay attention because there are 3 or 4 different types of screws in different positions that you're going to have to keep track of so you can put them all back in again. So let's just take it apart. For the most part, we'll remove all of the accessory trays. Pull out the water bin. Remove the brew group. The tray for the brew group. And in order to get the top of the machine off, there's a lot of screws inside each one of the compartments as well. We're going to have to remove the control panel from the front. There are 3 screws in here. So let's pull those out. This is one of the unique screws right here. It's a little flathead screw, so let's keep that separate. Now we'll turn into the water bin area, and there, as you can see, there are 2 screws in here, so we'll remove those. Now behind the brew group, there's a compartment. I'm going to remove the cover from this compartment and all the screws around the compartment. And now we're going to have to remove the control panel and all the trim around here. So this spout, you just press on the sides and pull the spout right out. And then we take a tool, pry tool, to pull this trim out on the sides. And this just slides out sideways on both sides. Two screws on the top. These are different screws. These are black colored screws. Put them aside so you know where they go. On the bottom, there is a splash panel that we're going to remove. Once again, these are different screws. It's held on from inside this panel. With 2 screws down here, and there's convenient holes to access the screws with a Torx driver. And these are different as well, so they have to be kept separate. The panel comes off, the splash guard. So now we have to remove the front cover and the control panel. So behind those strips there's 2 black screws. Remove those. And you have to remove this faux chrome plastic piece before you can get back to the actual spout here. So you want to pry between this black part and the chrome piece with something like a piece of plastic or something. Pop that back. Do the same thing on this side. And then you remove this assembly. And try not to lose the little on-off button. Now there's a screw here. It's inside this cavity, which you have to unscrew. And lift up and remove this cover. Now there's 2 stainless steel screws at the bottom, which we have to remove. Remove the wand. Pry off this little cover here and feed it down over the tube. Now this front panel comes off, feeds down over top, so that cover comes off. Now we're going to remove the button panel. It just lifts up and out of the way, and there's a cover here, and you can disconnect the orange plug from the back of the button panel. Now lift out this louvered piece, and we can start taking off the top cover. But first, there's a magnetic reed switch in here that detects the grinder cover being closed. We pull that off and remove the switch from the cover. Feed the switch back through the slot. And now we can disconnect the water line. First of all, we have to disconnect the wand nozzle and make sure you don't lose the little O-ring that's there. Keep that together. top comes off. When you have the machine apart, this gives you the opportunity to do some good housekeeping and clean out some of the areas where grinds tend to accumulate. There's a little gasket here. If you lift that up, you'll see all of the grinds that fall behind there and stick. So give that a good cleaning and vacuum it out. Make sure that there's no debris left behind so you get a good seal. So this is the old pump down here. We need to get to the side of it, so we're going to have to remove the case. In order to get the case off, at the very front, there's one screw there. And at the back, behind the grinder, there's another screw there. So we need to take those two screws off, and then we can lift the case off. And there we have the pump. The pump is suspended on these rubber bushings to reduce vibration. So you have to remove the barbed fitting at the back. Pull the rubber bushing off the pump assembly. There's a little rubber piece underneath here. If you fold it back, you'll be able to lift the front bushing up and out of the way to free the pump. If you turn the pump over, you'll see that underneath are the two connectors for the power. But right beside the connectors, there is a thermal switch that will shut down the pump if it overheats. So that's all sealed in there with silicone. So we'll have to pull that out, clean out the silicone. Be very careful so you don't damage the switch, because it has to go back into the slot in the bottom of the new pump. It takes a little bit of doing, but as you can see, you can free the connector from the thermal switch from the little cavity. And then you can start unscrewing the pump from the header. You can use a 13mm open-end wrench to start unscrewing the pump on the flat spots of the header, and then just completely unscrew it. It threads in. And that's the old pump. And here we have the old pump on the left and the new pump on the right. And the new pump on the right has a brass tube which screws into the header. So hopefully it should last a little bit longer, because it looks like it is an upgrade and a little bit better made. Don't forget to put the suspension, the rubber suspension, onto the shaft before you screw the pump into the water line. And there we have the new pump in place. It's all connected. The hoses are connected. The electrical connection plugs are connected. and the case is ready to be put back together again. Now, as usual, the assembly is in reverse order of the disassembly. Put these two screws back in. Now, I had previously removed the door, which you have to put in before you put the top on. It just slides in into two pins. And then we have to connect up the reed switch. Feed it back up through the cover. And secure it in place with the flathead screw. Make sure that the wire comes out through the little port. Now we reconnect the cable to the buttons, the button panel. Put the front cover on. Make sure all the buttons line up. Now this cover goes in underneath, pushes in, and it has slots that hold it in place, along with this one screw. Now we have to reassemble the chrome cover. Don't forget the button. The lens goes in there. And then the silicone cover on top. Make sure everything's lined up. Snaps in. Two black screws hold it in top, up top. The little black cover for here. That snaps in. Okay, these two stainless steel screws go in here. Now we put this little splash cover back on with these short screws. And the other two go in from the inside. Okay, all the screws are in, and I didn't have any left over, so that's always a good sign. Now we put the spout back in, that just pops inside. These side trim pieces just slide in from the side like this. Snap in. There we go. Tray goes back in. Brew group snaps in. The tray and the pop on the steam wand and put in the water tray, and we're done. So let's throw some water and some coffee into the machine and see if it works. As I suspected, we have the symbol for the water purge